after their impact flash targeting, the team is interested in if the crew can see lofted lunar dust. This would only be visible just before Earthrise. Now 20 minutes until we expect to regain communications with integrity and the astronauts for Artemis 2.
Photos taped inside the hatch. Your name carved on the metal, so the stars would know our past. Coffee drifting from the thermos, little spheres of home afloat. You laugh, try catching everyone like fragile, tiny worlds of hope. We're leaving gravity, but not each other. Rising from a blue and breathing sphere, every mile feels like forever. Orbiting our little fears, if the sky falls off behind us.
We're live in Mission Control Houston at NASA's Johnson Space Center, but there's a team over 750 miles away also monitoring today's operations. And of course, just like us, they are in LOS, or loss of signal with the spacecraft. This is LUCA, the Lunar Utilization Control Area, and it's joined by LISA, the Lander Engineering Support Area, which are twin control rooms that will support missions and operations in lunar orbit or on the moon surface in real time at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. The LUCA and LISA are next to each other and just a short walk away from the SLS Engineering Support Center, which is used during launch, and the POIC, where science on the International Space Station is monitored. LUCA primarily supports Artemis science operations, while LISA will provide engineering support for landing astronauts on the moon. During this mission, Artemis 2, teams in LUCA will use the facility to support first-of-its-kind science operations to better understand the deep space effects of microgravity and radiation on the crew's physiology, immune systems, and ability to complete various tasks. The data from these science operations will inform future crewed flights to the moon.
Là, il est là, tu vois?
For future crewed missions to the moon, members of the NASA Human Landing System Mission Insights.
But then when I do start stream,
safety leads, flight operations
for some reason it doesn't show.
Authorities will work in the LISA. There, they will monitor lander systems in real time and be involved in key decision-making processes throughout the mission. Teams are using the LISA during Artemis 2 to observe mission operations and using the opportunity to inform and prepare for future crewed landings to the moon's surface.
Yeah, you see here now, if I do it, it's gonna start streaming, and then I'm gonna see what do I see here when it does it? Here it just shows yeah, shows the studio, whatever, a couple of numbers, and then that's where I get the yellow message. But you see, like, the chat, I didn't bring up the chat. Now you see again, it makes me sign in again. That's so weird, man. Anyway.
We now expect to
I'll figure it out another time.
The astronauts aboard Orion in about 17 minutes. In the meantime, a little overview of how our crew members flying by the lunar far side at an altitude of between 4,000 and 9,000 miles are testing the capabilities of the Orion capsule. Artemis 2 visualization lead Ernie Wright has simulated views of the flyby using detailed topographic maps of the lunar terrain and photorealistic lighting scenarios. The Artemis 2 crew members have been using these visualizations to prepare for this historic mission, which is paving the way for future exploration of
Hey, Elias, you're at work?
So the most exciting thing to me about Artemis 2 is just the return to the moon. We haven't been there in 50 years. Human eyes are going to see parts of the moon that haven't been seen by anyone before. It also recommits us to exploring the solar system in a way that we haven't in a long time. And I think it provides an opportunity for younger generations to understand the excitement of doing that kind of exploration. Artemis is our return to the moon after 50 years. The emphasis of Artemis is going to...
Bro, what is this? What is this?
We're hoping
Back to snow.
Stone to Mars and other destinations in the solar system eventually. Artemis 2 will be a flyby mission. It's not going to land. We're testing all of the technology that we've
Yeah, it would be
created
cool.
for flying to the moon since Apollo. A lot of systems have been modernized, and we need to make sure that all of those work. The astronauts will be looking out the window at parts of the moon that have never been seen by human eyes before. They will be flying by the moon at an altitude that's much higher than Apollo's orbits. And they will see the entire disk of the moon, including areas that are closer to both the North and South Pole that astronauts from Apollo never saw. All of that depends on the lighting, which we really won't know until launch day, but we can practice with different lighting scenarios. It's hard for people to sort of picture that in their mind. If you can make a visualization of it and show them a movie, that helps everybody choose the targets and also practice aiming at those targets. The astronauts have actually been looking at these visualizations through the lens of the camera and practicing aiming at the various targets. This is a map of the surface of the moon, obviously, but it shows what the Apollo astronauts could see in sunlight while they were in orbit. The brighter parts are the parts that they could see. The darker parts, like this entire area here, and places that are farther north and south, are places that they couldn't see in sunlight, either because it was nighttime there or because it was beyond the horizon of the astronauts. All of the Apollo flights orbited the moon at a distance of about 110 kilometers. Because the astronauts were flying at such low altitude, their horizon was actually quite close, and they couldn't see the North and South poles. And this whole area over here was not in sunlight at the time. And it includes this amazing impact feature here called Oriental. Oriental is a very large impact feature.
It's the only one that they keep talking about.
50 kilometers wide. It's got multiple rings. These are rings that form like ripples in a pond from the impact, but of course it's on a huge scale. The middle of Oriental has that sort of dark basalt lava covering it, like the dark spots that we see on the near side. It's one of the biggest ones that's more on the far side than the near. So seeing it with human eyes...
Mama D and Kai are like, oh my god, I can't take the on and off with this.
It's an important goal for the mission.
This live view in the Science Evaluation Room, or the SIR, here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, just down the hall from where we're at in the Artemis Mission Control Room. Teams continuing to monitor the flyby. The crew continues their observations of the moon, even though they are out of touch with Earth. We expect to hear from them in 12 minutes and 26 seconds. Again, this is approximately 40 minutes loss of signal while they are out of reach of the Deep Space Network. Right now, they are imaging, or attempting to image, lofted lunar dust. Throughout our coverage, we've talked a lot about the science and engineering behind today's lunar flyby, but we also spoke to the crew about what the moon means to them.
I'm surprised these people aren't sitting at their desks like nervous, like, oh my god, we can't hear them, we can't see them. You know, like, bro, me, I'd be sitting at my desk chewing on my fingers, bro.
I remember being a little kid lying in bed at night and just looking out at the moon in whatever phase it was in, and I was thinking, man, my friends that live like 20 miles away, they can probably look out and see that same exact moon. And then when I was in the Navy and I would look out at the moon, and I'd be halfway around the planet, and I would think, man, my brother can see that moon where he is. And
that's ever happened to the moon is still written on the moon. There's no processes of wind or change in the earth, geologic processes like we have here that change it. And something that's been telling and can read out the story of its own evolution, there's something beautiful about that.
I've also learned from my indigenous mentors that they refer to the moon as grandmother moon. So probably heard of Mother Earth, they use Grandmother Moon because Grandmother Moon is responsible for the water in their community. The grandmothers, sort of protect the water source, just like the moon moves the water around the planet, affects the tides. It's something that represents something different for each individual culture around the planet. And that's really neat because we all share that same moon in the night sky.
We all have seen the same side of the moon in different lighting conditions our whole lives. And so it seems very familiar to us, but it's also kind of unknown. When we get up close, some of the imagery that we'll get to describe and to share with people will be very unique. And that nature, both of those things being true about this one entity that we all know, just is really special.
It's just the epitome of a symbol of both something that's in each of our hearts, but that's also represents exploration and reaching.
Ah, t'es trop fatigué avec mon on and off.
We're looking at a live view inside Artemis Mission Control here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. We are currently out of contact with the Artemis 2 crew. This was a planned, or not really a planned, but a tracked loss of signal that occurs when the crew flies behind the moon. We use the Deep Space Network to communicate with the crew, and when they are behind the moon, they are out of reach of that Deep Space Network. And when you consider our nonstop communications during the time in which we live, this is even more striking. For the Artemis 2 crew, they're only currently communicating with each other. Now we expect to regain those communications in under 9 minutes from now. And we
Under 9 minutes, and we'll see
despite being out of communication,
how close they are to the moon. Or let's see what they let us see.
Predetermined lunar targets. Now about 7 minutes, 25 seconds until we anticipate regaining communications with the Artemis 2 crew aboard Orion. In the meantime, Artemis 2 Lunar Science Deputy Lead Marie Henderson is trained these astronauts to capture and document their views of the lunar surface for all of us to enjoy back here on Earth.
I cannot wait to hear their voices when they get to the far side of the moon and I can hear them talk about seeing the moon out their window. I try to imagine it now and it just, I tear up thinking about it. Ooh, now I gotta hold on a second. We have human eyeballs connected to wonderfully smart brains our astronaut friends have. They are going to be able to observe the moon in multiple different ways. They can use their eyes, they'll look through their camera and snap pictures, and just looking out the window getting that human experience. But during Apollo, the astronauts were so much closer to the lunar surface. Our astronauts are going to be doing a flyby at a higher altitude, so they're going to be able to see the whole moon as a lunar disk on the lunar far side. So that's a brand new, unique perspective that humans haven't been able to look at before. We are doing a lot of lunar geography training with them. They have study sessions and quizzes they can do that are assigned to them. You know, even if you're an astronaut, you still get homework. Yeah. We actually get in the mock-up. In that enclosed physical space, we have to think through the hardware that they have, the cameras, computers, computers, their microphones to make these observations. There's 4 windows up front. Through one of those windows, one of our astronauts will be using a Nikon D5 camera with an 80 to 400 millimeter lens. So something that allows them to zoom in really far and actually take more detailed observations of the surface. It's almost like looking through a pair of binoculars as well. It's just like being a geologist out in the field. They're telling us what they're seeing for colors, textures, different morphologies, and comparing the region that we're having them look at to the regions that are around them. We have a science team that is planning the targets that are going to be observed, putting them all on the timeline of how they're going to be observed, and then taking the first look at the data when it comes down. The Apollo astronauts were only on the moon for 300 hours total, and they only went to the equator. That's like going to places that were safer landing sites, and they only saw so little, 300 hours total. And so we have so much more to explore and so much more to learn, and we are the
they can actually make adjustments.
So this is from another channel. I was
Real
watching
time
live.
that they're making those changes to make sure that the whatever is the object, whether they're taking pictures of the Earth or the Moon or Saturn or whatever those things that they wanted to take pictures of, they can actually make adjustments accordingly. And I actually never thought about it myself that they would be doing this just to make their position correct. So if you are seeing a little bit of changes
switches back
in the camera,
a little weird.
generation that
Sophia, what are you doing, baby? Okay. Yeah, there's a few of them. There's even there's this photo that was circulating yesterday on Facebook, all day yesterday, and people were like, "That's impossible," because they weren't even that close. So, yeah, that was one. You could run it through Gemini, you could run it through Grok, you could run it through whatever you want, and it tells you itself that no, it's impossible that this is from the Artemis mission because they're not that close yet. What other one? I found this weird.
We're live in the Artemis Mission Control Room in Houston, but we are
Look at
not
the
the only
toothbrush.
room.
Case and copy.
I've been trying to figure out if he knocks it with his hand, does he,
This is
does it
the
knock the
Now, while
bag?
they are
Here's, look at the
officially
toothbrush.
closer to the moon than they are to Earth, they
There, it
have
just
not
falls
entered
downwards?
what is known as the
science team supporting the Artemis 2 crew in real time, including
Case and copy.
geology, impact cratering,
I just found that a little weird.
polar science, imaging, and
I don't
Now, while
know
they
if he
are
knocks it.
officially closer to the moon than they are to Earth,
No, it
they
just
have not
falls.
entered what is known as the
mission control to provide science input during live operations like what
I
we
just
see
found that a
today.
little weird.
But additionally, the Science Mission Operations Room is a back room that processes data, evaluates imagery, and supports rapid analysis. We also have our science officer, Kelsey Young, here on console today. She's serving as the primary interface between the science team and the flight controllers, ensuring science priorities are represented during mission execution.
Did you see the video, His Highness, of that little plushie that she was holding? At one point, they were doing a video, I think, with one of the news stations, and they throw the plushie across to one another, and you literally see letters in the plushie as it's moving across frame. You see different letters and shit, and then the person grabs it and puts it back under their arm. I was like, oh, come on. There's some little weird things. There's little weird things.
Meanwhile, aboard
The other channel that I was just showing the video from, Ray's Astrophotography, he's saying how it's just a little weird that they haven't that they
As we
didn't put
discussed earlier today, these activities have been
they
precisely
didn't put
timelined,
a live
and
cam
this is the
in
fourth
one of the
of
windows that they're taking
5
pictures from
blocks
to
of
at least
time
give us
during
the
which
same
the
view that
crew
they
will be
have.
observing
He
the
says, I
moon from
find that a little
Orion's
bit weird with
windows.
all the money that they
At
put
this
into it, all the
time,
technology that we
pilot
have.
Victor
They
Glover
couldn't put a
and
camera in
mission
one of those
specialist Christina
windows.
Cook are observing the moon
He's right
at
about that.
windows 2 and 3. One crew member is in window 2 with a blue shroud over the window, taking photos and using an 80 to 400 millimeter zoom lens, while the other astronaut is in window 3 using their portable computing device, also known as a PCD, to make annotations. And both of those crew members are making audio recordings of what they are seeing.
Alex, il aurait dit juste amener un télescope en haut.
And those audio
Oh,
recordings are being
something
sent
fell
to
off
the
the...
science team tonight.
Pick it up, pick
We
it
are
up.
not hearing those live. However, we have been hearing quite a lot of great descriptions from the
Spirit
crew
knocked down your
who have been
stupid
serving
patch.
as the support. Right now, the support team members are Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen. Those team members are providing science sit reps, situation reports, calling down a few times each hour to discuss what they're observing. And even though we're out of contact with them right now, they are still conducting those science sit
Hey, look,
reps
she
as
knows-
they'll be
she knows we're
available
filming.
once they come back around the moon.
I'll get you guys on camera.
The situation reports include how the crew is positioned, any missed targets, or anything unexpected they saw. They're also including lunar target descriptions, any hardware issues, and their emotions and reactions.
I want to see the outside cameras that they're going to show now because they're... now they're really close, right? So those cameras that they have that turn back on should have some good views. Let's see what it looks like. Oh. What, no more moon? They couldn't have gone around it that fast. There's no way. No, there's no way with So all of a sudden, the crescent moon was visible with the moon just before they went offline. We were seeing the Earth. All of a sudden now, that little 2-second blip that we just got, there's no more moon, but the crescent is still there.
Out of contact with anyone on Earth.
No, they just went behind the moon. Now they're coming around it, and they're supposed to be getting the transmission back. There you go. Slowly, slowly, they'll start getting it back. So that's the Earth, right? And the moon was just there before. You can't tell me they just went around. That, no. There you go. That was your CGI. There you go. Okay, buddies.
We are getting our first
And people can say, oh, it's because they're just receiving the image, but that ship ain't shifting nowhere.
Orion has come back
Nothing
around
else is
the other
moving but
side
the
of
Earth.
the moon,
Okay.
and that little crescent that you see is Earth, over 252,000 miles away. With this transit complete, lunar flyby continues, but Orion has also technically begun its journey home.
Yeah, so we get no views of the moon. They couldn't even turn the camera around. That's how fast they went around, so it doesn't even make sense.
Right now, the crew are getting a few moments to enjoy and take photos of Earthrise for
that's us.
themselves, and we expect to contact them shortly. But we do have good signal coming from Orion.
Yeah, seriously. There's so many cameras on this fucking thing.
This view from inside the Orion spacecraft, all 4 astronauts now back on the other side of the moon and in contact with us on Earth. Their tasks for lunar flyby did not stop as they went behind the moon and out of contact with us. We anticipate during that time they were attempting to image some impact flashes, short-lived flashes on the lunar surface, which would be caused by impact bombardment and potentially even lofted lunar dust. Right now, of course, they are getting pictures of Earthrise. After this target, they will get a short observation break. It's about an hour long, actually.
Houston, integrity, comm check.
Integrity, we have you loud and clear. How many?
Houston, we have you the same, and it is so great to hear from Earth again. To Asia, Africa, and Oceania, we are looking back at you. We hear you can look up and see the moon right now. We see you too. When we burned this burn towards the moon, I said we do not leave Earth.
There's never any communication delay, but they want to say that there's video camera delay. Yet they're using lasers to transfer this information. Okay.
We will visit again.
Yeah.
We will construct science outposts. We will drive rovers.
Okay, but let me ask you guys this question. So the sun lights up the moon, and at night we get sunlight from the moon, right? We get it bounce off. Okay, moonlight. So you're telling me that at night we wouldn't be able to see this little ship with our telescope,
Those of us that can are looking back.
considering the moon is bouncing light from the sun? Wouldn't the sunlight be bouncing off Orion as well? We would be able to see
We
it.
are happy to say
It doesn't matter the size. We would still be able to see it. Might look like a little tic-tac, but we would be able to see something. Ben, la lumière, ça, c'est supposé d'être la lune dans une des fenêtres, là. Je pense. Sinon, ils ont ouvert une lumière, je sais pas.
Those first communications back with the astronauts aboard Orion. Christina Cook calling back to what she said just before translunar injection burn. That with this burn, we do not leave Earth, we choose it. The translunar injection burn served as not only what put them on this trajectory to fly around the moon, but what also committed them to splashing down in the Pacific Ocean on flight day 10. At this time, the crew is entering an observation break. We expect this to last about an hour, and it's probably a welcomed break following their very, very busy day taking pictures, making annotations.
No, it was just a light. They were just turning back on the lights.
Communicating all of the wonderful things that they are seeing on the moon. This observation
But they just said they had coverings on the windows, so why not just take all the coverings off all the windows and get pure natural light in there for once, no? Experience what real moonlight is? Wouldn't that be cool?
Astronauts will need to wear eclipse glasses for the first 2 minutes until the sun is completely covered by the moon, and then they have additional targets that the science team is hoping that they will photograph. We will have communications with them during that eclipse time frame. Because of that eclipse, Orion's attitude must be changed right now so that its solar arrays are in the sun. This will help it charge the batteries needed to power it through that eclipse time frame. This view on your screen is a visualization The spacecraft now 4,224 miles away from the moon, and that number will now continue to grow, while the number of distance from Earth, 252,699 miles, will continue to shrink, all the way until our crew is back home.
C'est pour ça qu'il nous fait des feeds de même là, de visualization that most people don't realize when they're on the lives that it says that right there for a lot of these pictures. When they don't want us to see something, they put stuff like this. Or whatever, you know, like, whatever, man. Come to see that, it's just weird that it was a crescent like that. Considering the anyway, whatever. So you're telling me now one of these solar panels has a camera that's pointing there that we can see? How far they're leaving already? And they couldn't just put something towards there? Yeah. Yeah, they should send him this one so he can work on it after.
Again, we are MET, mission elapsed time 5 days and 58 minutes since the launch of Artemis 2. We have reestablished communications with the crew and the Orion spacecraft, now entering a little bit of a break while they are out of visibility, or the moon is out of their visibility. The spacecraft will be reoriented to view the moon ahead of an upcoming eclipse. This current attitude maneuver helps charge the solar arrays and batteries aboard Orion that will power them through the eclipse.
Even if they're pointed at it, you know what she said, that their cameras, they're using 144p cameras, bro. That's what she said before. She said they had to put that low of cameras on there so they can save data for the other life systems on board. With all the money, they couldn't give these guys one good GoPro or one good... Bro, you're telling me that they can talk to these people live, straight up. Right now I can call them and they're going to answer, but the guy can't live stream on his iPhone 14, bro. Away. Laisse donc faire un live stream.
Integrity, Houston.
You know, we see this. Grab the camera with your hand and put it to a window, please. Somebody. But no.
There are Artemis 2 patches around. We are earthbound and ready to bring you home.
That's great. See the light of day as we head back to...
Look at that. He was taking pictures of her smiling. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to be the face of this. Okay. Fucking demons. Yeah, the guys in the room have better cameras than they do on there. You know, and who would have thought that most of the trip would have been visualizations? This is another cool channel. He does his lives too. Oh. Let's see what everybody's saying. And when they're done giving us
A very special moment just now in Mission Control, ahead of the crew's flight to Kennedy Space Center, and during one of their last sims or simulations here, they visited the Mission Control team in Artemis Mission Control in Houston and brought us each a patch. Everyone in the flight control room has had these on their signifiers at their...
When you go and look up the myth, I don't remember which country it's from, but there's a myth about Artemis, the god Artemis. What was the other one? Artemis, Apollo, and Orion. So Artemis tricked Apollo to shoot an arrow in the clouds where Orion was. There was a whole big thing before, and she got mad at Orion. So she tricked him to shoot Orion with the arrow. And because he's a god, they put his soul in the constellation, and that's how we get the constellation of the warrior. Funny how their rocket also looks like a pointy arrow. You have Artemis, who's represented by the half moon with the arrow.
Console. On one side of the patch that you've probably seen is the moon.
There's a lot of symbology. Yeah.
So that the Earth is closer and then the...
And let them watch us disappear. Two small hearts and all this bad
is behind us. We are
learning how to steer. We're leaving gravity, but now each other rising from a blue and breathing sphere. Every mile feels like forever. Orbiting our little.
Pas juste ça. T'as le ship au complet qui mesurait 322 pieds. Les Skull and Bones, leur numéro c'est 322. You go and check all the moon landing before the astronauts from the moon landing, the previous moon landings. All of them had those rings on. It's all coding, man. And this, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I think that this is all bullshit to distract us from what's going on in Iran and the Epstein shit, because the Epstein stuff was being talked about way too much. A lot of people were finding out stuff that they didn't like, so they need to do something spectacular.
You've been in the SIR earlier today. There's a lot going on, so I went here first, and then I'm going to go there after.
All right, Integrity, we hear you. That was a little clipped, but I think we have a better link now. We experienced some blockage from a solar array. We moved it, and we are in bias tail to sun. integrity, just so you know. We did not hear your response once we flipped our patches. Jeremy, we heard
Are they
you
saying that's what they?
you
I really hope they're saying that's not what they see, because that's.
My pleasure.
Okay, Angela, so can you tell me a little bit about your role supporting Artemis 2 in the science preparation for the mission? Yes, so I'm one of the 3 science officers. So Kelsey's been on console all day. I'll take over kind of closer to the end of the day, and then Trevor Graff is on the planning shift. And so it's the 3 of us in this 24-hour cycle supporting the mission. And so the Science Officer console is a brand new console to Mission Control. And it's not every day that you get a new discipline incorporated into Mission Control, so it's been such a significant milestone for us. And it's just a testament to like the commitment that the Flight Operations Directorate and NASA have, that they're going to be integrating science and maximizing science at Artemis. So it's really exciting. And then the science preparation. So I'm on the operations team, but I'm also on the training team. So all the incredible training and shout-outs that you've gotten today, it warms my heart. It warms everybody's heart in the science evaluation worm. I promise you that. But so all the classroom training, the field training, the mission simulations, right, we were part of all of it, and that is what we did to get the crew to be. They are a part of the science team, and they are the forefront, that nice edge, and they're just been doing such a great job today.
I know. I imagine that you have to be pretty proud of them. Their reports have been fantastic. So I would like to know a little bit about how you have developed procedures for this crew. What kind of science activities are they carrying out inside the spacecraft?
Yeah, so the procedure development has been a unique challenge. I would say the exploration science that we're doing is inherently pretty flexible, and operations inherently has more structure and rigidity, and so to marry the two and to operationalize the science that we want to get done has been a challenge. But I think we've been able to go through these processes and create good products at the end and have a good plan. It's been really
Imagine
great.
something happens and they just get stranded, and all of a sudden they only had one capsule, and now they have to rebuild it. And like they said last time, the technology was so hard to rebuild that we destroyed it and we can't rebuild it again.
We talked a lot about what they've been doing, and they've been doing a lot, and it's been a little dark, so I can re-explain what some of those things that they're doing. So the observation blocks are about an hour long, and the crew is organized. The 4 crew members are organized.
Actually, this is on Netflix. They're live streaming it on Netflix as we speak.
And the lunar targeting package that
you can actually go watch this on Netflix.
That the crew have on their handheld tablets is really
obviously the comments are turned off there too.
So the window team, the 2 crew members are looking out the window. One has the camera with the long lens. One has they're just looking out the window with their unaided eye, and they're taking these detailed observations. Halfway has a chance to have that long lens, and then that's just what the window team is doing. There's also the cabin team, where they also have duties that they're doing. We're asking a lot of the crew in this time, and then the cabin team, they have the interior camera, and they're taking images inside the cabin. They're also supporting the window team, where you've heard some call-outs where looking out at the bright moon and then looking inside the dark cabin and looking at their LED screen is a lot. So the cabin team is also helping support
watching the moon launch,
the window team into specific targets on their plan. They're also helping call out these science situational reps. So they're looking out a different window and listening in to what the crew who are really down and in the science on the window team are doing, and they're giving us insight. And those recordings that the window team is doing are going to be uplinked or downlinked overnight, and we're going to be able to chew on that data. But yeah, they're helping. They're doing.
Alex, it's funny you say something about actors. Did you know that one of the astronauts actually was in an astronaut movie?
That we check off all those boxes was really important.
little bit more. You talked earlier about the analogs that the crew has done. What kind of analogs or environments were really useful for this?
Yeah, so for procedure development, right, you have so many different environments that you can do. You have classroom, like we said, you have the Orion mock-up, you have simulations, and for at least for
I have to look it up. I think it's one of the guys.
we kind of did it
Je pense que c'est le noir.
because each of those
Je suis pas sûr à 100%, mais je pense que c'est le noir.
Answer a slightly different question and has a little bit of a higher fidelity. So we would start with the classroom. So we would get, we would just get into a classroom, we would put all the hardware on the table, and then we'd almost role play of like, you be Victor, you be Reed, you be Jerry, and I'll be Christina, and like, let's just do the plan, how we think we should do it. Write that down, and then just keep iterating on that, and then
Integrity Houston for a tag up pre-forward link LOS in place of the flight director conference.
Good. It's close.
Okay, Jenny, we're ready.
All right, crew, I'm going to roll through a couple of topics here. The first two are for timeline. First of all, Reed for your toilet maintenance. It is a shortened toilet maintenance where you do not have to do the aux zone change out. That portion of the procedure is canceled.
I'd really like to know if they got that burning smell out. Whatever happened with that?
Activity on your
You're taking a poop and all of a sudden, boom, it smells
as scheduled for
like burning.
reasons. For your next portion of the flyby, in particular the eclipse,
And still, no cameras towards the moon, even though they repositioned the ship so that it's facing the sun, so that they actually had a view of the moon. You know?
and then finally, for the D5 with the long or zoom lens, which is set for solar corona, we want to remind you that when you are capturing Earth shine, you will likely have to adjust the exposure. That's all I have for you. Let me know if you have anything for us.
Tu sais, Alex, je viens juste de penser à ça, là. How they tell us things move in space, right? Literally, if we would have taken our telescopes and just watched this thing, we would have actually been able to see it zoop around the moon. You know what I mean? Come on. We should have been able to see it do that. If they already claim that it's already on the other side. But come on.
All right, just a quick call up to the crew ahead of a forward link LOS, meaning that we won't be
Shenville, Quebec here.
communicating with them, but we will be receiving their communications and data during that time frame. So, Angel, we were talking about analog environments. You were telling me about the classroom and getting in there and pretending who's Victor, who's Reed. Tell me more about that. Yeah, it works pretty well. So you're going to do the plan how you expect it to be, and then, once we finalize that plan, we'll give it to a completely new group of people and have them practice it, and then they'll be like, these steps don't make sense, and we'll reiterate on it over and over. Then we'll take it to a higher fidelity environment like the Orion mock-up, and we'll do the same thing, because that... to have kicked off this process, but there's so much more to come. Fascinating, and I think it was really well thought out too, because each crew member gets an opportunity to do each task, and so you're getting different perspectives and different insights from each crew member, maybe even about the same target, but something that one person sees could be completely different than something another person notices. So we also know that Artemis 2 has traveled, they're now on their way home, but they traveled farther from the moon than the Apollo missions did. So what makes that vantage point scientifically interesting? Yeah, observations are so fundamental in the scientific toolkit, particularly observations from different perspectives.
So, Dee, this is what I was showing before. Here's the little odd thing that I found the other day. Watch his toothbrush.
Now, while they are officially closer to the moon than they are to Earth, they have not entered what is known as the...
Yeah, it just falls downwards. Okay, yeah, I could understand if his hand hit it and it went down, but I literally don't see his hand nudging it, the bag nudging it.
While they are officially closer to the moon than they are to Earth, they have not entered what is known as the...
And then the one... This one, there's an orb that just flies by.
Selected as astronauts together back in 2009.
Starts here and it goes.
And he was a member, obviously, of the Canadian Space Agency, and I was a member of NASA. And when Jeremy interviewed to be an astronaut, our chief astronaut, Peggy Whitson, was on their board.
There we go. You see it?
And Peggy came back from that interview and said, if Canada doesn't hire Jeremy, NASA will hire Jeremy.
They can actually make is real time that they're making those changes to make sure that
this was during a live earlier before they went around the moon today.
Pictures of the Earth
at
or
2:08.
the moon or Saturn or whatever those things.
And this is supposed to be live, right?
Take pictures of. They can actually make adjustments accordingly. And
what is that ugly thing?
Actually, never
missing a corner at the top.
Myself,
where is it?
That they would
missing
be
its
doing
corner at the
this
top there.
just to make
What is
the
that
position
thing?
correct. So if you are seeing
me writing
a little bit of changes
and it's back
in the camera, they can actually make adjustments.
Anyway, I just found that interesting. Yeah, what else? Did I take any other videos? And they claim they took a picture of the Earth. Okay. It says no. Taken from the Firefly Aerospace Blue Ghost lunar lander of last year. So, you know, recycling pictures to make us think that it's that.
Scale.
It's weird.
At these different scales and these different perspectives are so important. So this zoomed out kind of far view is this full lunar disk view. It's the full lunar, on Earth we see the full lunar disk as well, but now we're able to see it on the far side, and we're able to see it all at the same time, which enables the astronauts to compare very quickly to different parts of the surface. And the color particularly is very compelling because you can just be able to very quickly compare from 3 different regions. Is it in the same family? Is this actually a little bit different? Compare that to what they see in their orbital data they can have access to on their portable computers, and really just be able to tease out that nuanced information.
Yeah, we heard them make a lot of those connections today, and especially the color. We talked to Kelsey about
This a little bit, just how exciting it was to hear the browns and greens and things like that. I cannot wait to see those pictures. So one last question. We are coming up on the last lunar flyby observation block, and this is when we are going into a solar eclipse. So can you tell me what you're interested in the crew learning during that time frame? Yeah, so the data set, yes, there's so many things. How to pick one. So I would say the thing that I'm most interested in seeing is some of their annotations that they're taking. So in this opportunity, it's a very dynamic type of experience in that we don't normally see this activity, and so being able to have
I really hope they put some cameras when they start doing that other picture block or whatever
in their on their portable computing device is just such a unique thing that humans can give to missions, and also particularly being able to annotate what they're observing while they're talking about it is also unique to being able to have astronauts in orbit as well, because we won't be able to have annotations on the lunar surface because the astronauts will be in suits. They're going to be collecting samples, they're going to be deploying instruments, and so personally, I'm really excited to see some of these annotations and to see how that
Maybe we should find a hacker that can hack a spaceship.
Because you put a lot of descriptions, and I think when people are describing something that's unique and different, you can interpret it differently. But if you're drawing and you're marking, particularly just going back to like the color provinces, for example, and those boundaries, you know exactly what they meant. And really, I'm just very excited about those annotations. There's been some famous annotations that the Apollo crew have made, particularly about solar coronas and the structures that have, and lofted dust, that have given a lot of debate within the scientific community of they're observing this phenomenon, and now it's our job to hypothesize of like why are they observing this, like what is going on. So I think that's just a really cool part of exploration and science, and this beautiful thing that we're about to do. Well, now you've got me excited about the annotations too. I mean, I've been excited about the pictures and the audio, but now don't sleep on the annotations. I am very excited to see these little sketches that they're able to draw out, and we have pictures that they can just draw right on. It's like this particular thing is different than what we've seen, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited too. Angela Garcia, thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great time tonight on Console. Thank you, and you've been doing a great job, and so excited to see where we go from here. Thank you so much.
5 days of us just watching them in the cabin. Does a fart float around?
στο αυτί μου και τώρα μπορώ να ακούσω καλά αυτό.
Integrity, Houston.
Yeah, I know.
You have 3 minutes until we go into a forward link LOS. We will be back up with you in about an hour during the eclipse on Madrid.
And like, they don't give her a scrunchie just so that her hair can be all crazy like that the whole time on purpose so that it can keep up with their crap. Oh, what, she wasn't interested in looking back at the pictures? Oh my God, babe. How are you?
We're live in Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. This is a live view from the Orion spacecraft with our Artemis 2 crew inside. That's Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Anson. We are still live for our lunar flyby coverage. The crew is in a short break while the spacecraft is pivoted away from the moon. We are going to be going into a solar eclipse. This is the first time anyone has ever seen a solar eclipse from the moon. So it's going to be a unique vantage point for our crew. But ahead of heading into that solar eclipse, we need to charge the batteries on the Orion spacecraft. Therefore, we have positioned the solar arrays to the sunlight to allow time for those batteries to charge.
Salut, Canon.
We will get back pointed at the moon just in time for that solar eclipse. We are also in a forward link LOS. What that means is essentially we cannot send calls or commands to the crew right now from the ground. However, we clearly get all of their data and communications. The spacecraft is now 4,632 miles away from the moon, and that number will only continue to grow as the distance from Earth shrinks, now 252,523 miles away. Our closest approach to the moon today was approximately 4,067 statute miles in altitude. Our maximum distance from the Earth is suspected to be 252,756 statute miles. Both of those moments came while Orion was flying in their loss of signal time frame behind the moon. The crew also set that new record today, beating the Apollo 13 record of distance from Earth. This is an animation or a visualization that you can track anytime, day or night, by visiting nasa.gov/track Artemis. This shows you how the spacecraft is positioned as well as their distance and velocity, now traveling 930 miles per hour. During this break in their time today, the crew is working on a couple of other tasks. Some of those include their National Geographic timeline test. National Geographic was selected through a competitive process by NASA to help tell the story of Artemis 2. So you've seen the crew with some GoPros inside the cabin, taking videos.
When did we see them with GoPros?
With other cameras as well. National Geographic
When did we see them with GoPros?
Portfolio of media assets, including magazines, social and digital content, and television programming for engagement opportunities.
What a liar. We never saw them touch the GoPro ever. The whole 10 days, they haven't touched the GoPro, the whole 6 days.
A little bit each day to film from a shot list provided by
we saw them grab GoPros.
And that includes their morning routine, talking with their families, exercising, and just their overall thoughts about the mission. And I cannot wait to see that footage.
You too, brother. Thank you. Thanks for coming. I'll give you a shout when I want to do the Zoom.
Teams on the ground reporting that the spacecraft is looking good and that the power aboard is good as well, all setting us up in a proper position before eclipse.
Sounds good. Fait que là, tout ça, puis ils vont même pas... Love you too, brother. Tout ce temps-là, puis ils vont même pas nous montrer encore l'autre côté de la Lune. Ben bizarre. Ben bizarre, ça. Let's give our brother Ray a little visit and see what he's up to. Give him a little review ski.
Which is where Artemis missions are going to target, is specifically interesting for a couple key reasons. We think they're volatile. Whereas on the moon, that whole record of our planet's history, of the moon's history, is just kind of waiting there at the surface for us to explore. The South Pole, which is where Artemis missions are going to target, is specifically interesting for a couple key reasons. We think there are volatiles at the South Pole of the moon that are not present near the equator. Things like water and water ice that are trapped in the lunar regolith, which basically just means lunar soil, that can easily become untrapped from that lunar regolith, and scientists can scoop up and study for a return to Earth. The lunar South Pole is a really exciting scientific target, and it also comes with some challenges for operating. For example, the lighting environment will change drastically within the course of one mission, and even over sometimes the course of one spacewalk. So preparing the crew members, preparing the hardware that we're sending to the moon, and preparing the mission control teams is really, really important. The South Pole Aitken Basin is particularly exciting. We think it's one of the oldest and largest impact basins in the solar system. And if we can get the right rock from the South Pole Aitken Basin and bring it back to our labs here on Earth, we can use that sample to constrain the entire evolution of our solar system and really understand the timing of how the moon and our planet and the entire solar system evolved.
Oh, Alex, while you're here, while we wait for them to show us some good feed, screw it. Let's see. No. I already have one. Okay. This one. Use voice. We just need you to verify your voice. Oh no, come on. Oh God. Je suis pas chanteur, fait que j'ai bloqué ça. Let's see what it does. While we wait for that. This is the one I'm planning on getting for the camping. This bad boy right here. Double focuser, so it's you have fine tuning, so it's really, really nice. And this is the 127, so this is the biggest one, and it's at 409 from 527, so it's not bad. And it comes with the reducers and everything, so you can actually focal reduce it so that you can get a more zoomed out view. And when you want to go in really close, you take off the focal reducer. It's pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah, you see, 527 comes out to 409. Well, no, it's not 409, sorry. Because we have... Oh, free shipping. Oh, that's free shipping. That's cool. Okay, never mind. Not including customs and clearance. No, we would do this one. Okay, yeah, so 409 for a Mac 127. And when you look up the reviews on this one, oh man, it's pretty nice. Oh crap. There we go. Yeah. See, my computer's not the fastest. She's that's because I was looking for a filter for it and I was gonna get it, but so this is the pictures we can get. You see, even they could have given them one of these, man. You know? You telling me they couldn't give these guys one of these? Look at this. It's crazy. This telescope, it's really good for the moon and stuff, so. Gives some nice views. It does good planetary stuff, so we'll be set. Let's see what the peanut gallery is doing.
Sharing these photos with you as soon as we possibly can, and the best way to keep up with those is to follow NASA on social media.
I'm gonna have to change to another one because he's gonna start talking soon, and we just cannot be on his while he's talking. Waited 5 days for this moment. Show the moon, you liars. What a shame.
And we are in a forward
everybody's right.
LOS, or forward
been waiting for this, and they couldn't. One camera outside. This whole time they couldn't just point something. Oh,
right now, as they were.
She touched the GoPro. Alex, look, she touched the GoPro.
Times, but they could still provide communications down here to us, and we are obviously still receiving their video and their data.
Yeah. Couldn't just put one, and couldn't just give them one. Or, you know, like, connect to one of their cell phones. And it's going to be interesting. It's actually very interesting that they let them take up cell phones. I wonder if it's like their personal cell phones. They probably won't let them keep them if they are. But I don't, yeah, probably not. They're probably a special cell phone that they built. Well, they're supposed to be iPhones that are a little bit more resistant to radiation and stuff. I'll be back in 1 second.
blind high priority PAO activities on Reed's timeline are on PCD1 and a folder imagery for downlink, and then high priority standby imagery for downlink, and then lunar flyby for PAO, and then high priority PAO. Thank you.
We're gonna go back with Ray. I'm gonna go spend some time with Ray. Mon ami Ray. Him too today. He was like, it's really disappointing that they didn't put
It's to their legs.
It's like, yeah.
There is a belt.
This is Artemis Mission Control. You heard Reed Wiseman, commander of the Artemis 2 mission aboard Orion, make a call in the blind. This means he knows we cannot call back and that he knows we may not receive his call. However, we have good communications with the spacecraft. They just cannot hear from us right now due to a forward link loss of signal. Again, we were tracking that this would occur, and we will regain that momentarily. But that call that came down from Wiseman mentioned some imagery, so we are very much looking forward to getting pictures taken from the moon today. Again, to see those images, make sure you follow NASA on our social media at NASA and at NASA
Alex,
Artemis.
notre ami qu'on parlait hier soir, là, que Bruce avait enlevé de la page, lui était dans ce live-là toute la journée aujourd'hui. Puis... hey, il bâchait le monde en esti. Puis après ça, le moment que j'ai commencé à parler, il a switché puis il a commencé à dire oui sur les affaires que je disais. Il est bien flip-flop, lui.
So I'll be back, folks. Give me a minute. I'll go in and
Salut,
out
Kenoué, ça
pretty
va?
much.
Ah, tiens, on va regarder...
From this point onwards, because I do need to figure out what's going on there. So I'll be back in 1 minute.
Ah, ok, c'est son télescope, ça. Fait que lui, qu'est-ce qu'il va faire aujourd'hui? C'est que, parce que tout le monde parlait dans son live, il y a bien du monde qui disent qu'ils croient pas à ça, puis whatever. Fait que lui, il lit tout ça, là. Puis lui, c'est un hardcore. Il croit dans la science, il croit dans tout, right? Fait qu'il a dit, regarde, on va aller voir si on est capable de voir s'il est vraiment là. Fait que lui, il a mis son télescope pour checker à soir. Il va essayer de le traquer. Et ça va être... Ah ben là, c'est pour ça, s'il attend rien, qu'on cave. Si je cave. And it's still not working. I think my nope, not working for some reason. For some reason, it's not working. But I have down here somewhere. Je vais enregistrer ma voix à un moment donné. C'est ça.
It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found somebody who
definitely doesn't sound like me at all. Ay, yoy. Okay, definitely not, buddy. Oh man, come on. Crap, never mind.
Yourself at NASA.com.
You know, at least when they show us these animations, they can at least try and put us back in the ship or something. At least see what they're doing. Mais checker dehors si je peux voir de quoi.
This is Artemis Mission Control. We are in a forward link LOS with the spacecraft. We're not able to send commands or communications to them right now. However, they could send them to us, and we do get spacecraft
Look at that.
data. This is tracked as we are on the Deep Space Network. This is the network that we use to communicate with the spacecraft now that we are so far from Earth, over 252,000 miles. We are still in our lunar flyby coverage. The crew still have a very important and very exciting milestone coming up when they will see a solar eclipse from the moon, the first ever do so.
Great timing, and then I lose it. Ugh. So we have Jupiter and stuff.
Something that we also have to consider when it comes to our missions and launches is space weather. So since the Apollo 16 and 17 missions, there were some solar eruptions near that time frame that could have been dangerous to our explorers. Over those 50 years since those storms, the data, technology, and resources available to NASA have improved, enabling advancements towards space weather forecasts and astronaut protection, which is key to NASA's Artemis program to return astronauts to the moon.
Yeah, he's setting up that telescope to go find it. So he has the He has the one that Bruce had, but he has the astrograph.
Across our planet, billions of people depend on the invisible networks that connect us to space. Every day, those networks are at the mercy of our temperamental sun and the space weather that it unleashes across our solar system. That's why NASA's space weather program tracks solar storms from the moment they erupt, modeling their paths, anticipating their impacts, and leading the research that the world's industries rely on. NASA's space weather research and modeling is driven by the needs of society and enables critical decision-making that equips pilots to reroute around high radiation areas, farmers to adjust GPS-based precision planting and harvesting plans, and power grid operators to mitigate the impacts of potential surges. For those exploring other worlds, NASA provides 24/7 space weather monitoring for Artemis crews at the moon and future Mars astronauts who may be exposed to dangerous levels of radiation during solar storms. Whether you're a pilot or a passenger, a farmer or a consumer, a power grid operator or energy customer, a satellite controller or
I'll believe it when I see it.
Space weather impacts us all.
This is a live view from the Orion spacecraft on the Artemis 2 mission. It's now been 5 days, 1 hour, and 54 minutes since we launched. We are still in our flyby coverage, and the crew is on a short break right now as we have changed the attitude of the spacecraft to help charge the
These
batteries
things are
aboard.
able
We use
to
the solar arrays to gather energy from the sun and store it in the
take
batteries.
pictures of
That
galaxies,
way,
right?
when we
You
are
know what I
not in
mean?
the sunlight,
So they're able to go
we have
really
those
deep.
batteries to continue
He should be able to
Orion.
track this thing.
Now we're doing so because the Artemis astronauts are about to experience a solar eclipse from their capsule. And this is a solar eclipse that no one else on Earth will experience. This eclipse is about 54 minutes, and to the astronauts it'll look a lot like a total solar eclipse on Earth, except the moon is going to be huge compared to the sun, unlike when you watch one on Earth and the moon and the sun appear about the same size in the sky. We're interested to learn if they see the outer corona when the sun is fully obscured by the moon, and because
Pas ça que je voulais faire. Pas ça que je voulais faire. Hey! Mon esti, mon cahier, il est sur son live. Je devrais aller dessus et dire, hey, viens sur mon live, toi.
astronauts will also be using cameras to capture images of the corona during the eclipse. There also may be some other planets visible during the eclipse, including Venus, Saturn, Mars, and Mercury. If they can identify what part of the sky they're looking at, this can help train future Artemis astronauts on what part of the sky they're seeing.
They're going to see Mercury.
This provides useful knowledge in challenging situations when they may need to rely on that information instead of instruments for navigation and orientation.
No, he's on WRI. His life. He has one, just Kai.
Confirmation from teams here in the ground that we have reached the eclipse attitude, meaning Orion is in the proper position to observe it.
Okay, so is that the sun?
The astronauts' break during this observation period is now over.
No, he's on somebody else's live.
Resuming their lunar flyby observations.
Watch, I'm gonna go stalk him. Actually, I'm gonna go stalk him, take a picture, and then send it to him by email and be like, I saw you. Look. Where is he? Poor guy. I should do it. Not again. Yeah. What happened there? The heck was that? Well, of course. Of course.
You're getting a live look from Orion as the crew observes a solar eclipse from the moon. And this solar eclipse is only visible to the crew on the spacecraft. It's not visible to anybody on Earth. The science team is interested in several different targets for them during this time frame. And we're personally looking forward to getting those images as well. Again, during the beginning portion of this eclipse, the astronauts will need to use eclipse glasses just like we do from Earth to safely view it. Once the moon has completely covered the sun, they'll be able to take off those glasses for almost an hour. Totality on Earth during a solar eclipse lasts only a couple of minutes. So this opportunity gives them a chance to look out into deep space and to look into see if there are other planets nearby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's so funny you just said that. They said that they're supposed to get all the images back when they get back. So how the hell is there any picture circulating online? What a bunch of horse shit. I can't wait to see the pictures when you guys get back. So what are you putting online, liars? Yeah, exactly.
What you're seeing right now is the solar corona. That's the outer atmosphere of the sun.
When I put that picture of the crescent Earth that's circulating today, I put it in Gemini. And Gemini said, no, this is a doctored photo, it's AI generated, a Google AI generated photo. And then it says that the Artemis crew haven't arrived back on Earth to give any of the pictures to NASA. So excuse me.
science integrity in the blind. This is continues to be unreal. The sun has gone behind the moon, and the corona is still visible, and it's bright, and it creates a halo almost around the entire moon. But when you get to the Earth side, the Earth shine is already shown. I mean, almost seconds after the sun sets behind the moon.
So if this is the moon blocking the sun right now, how come we don't see what he's saying?
And the moon is just hanging in front of us. This black orb out in front of us, in front of now, not the blackness, but the gray that blends and drifts into the blackness. We can see stars and the planets behind it. And Christina is in window 1, Reed is in window 2 with the long lens, and Jeremy is describing it in window 3. And it is quite an impressive sight. You can still see the horizon lit up brighter where the sun set on that side of the moon. It is bright, and the Earthshine is very distinct, and it creates quite an impressive visual illusion. Wow, it's amazing.
Nice. I was showing Elias before. Yeah, you see it's following my stuff now. Ugh, it's so stupid. Oh, I have it working, but it's just the latency and stuff. It's really bad. One thing though, I haven't tried actually. No, that wouldn't work either. Anyway.
Again, you're looking at a live view from the Orion spacecraft on the Artemis 2 mission. Orion is now 252,125 miles away from us all on Earth. We're here in the Artemis mission control room in Houston, Texas, and what you had just before we lost that view quickly was the corona of the sun peeking around the moon as the astronauts are entering a solar eclipse for this portion of the lunar flyby. We're now over 5,500 statute miles from the moon. That closest approach today was just about 4,067 statute miles away. And teams in the room beginning to get a little busier and filter in and out as we are stepping through a handover.
For some reason, when I do start stream, it doesn't.
Handing over to Orbit 2, who will continue monitoring lunar flyby.
Well, it was working, but it was just loading.
Aboard the Orion spacecraft.
So I don't know if it's my computer's just too slow or whatever, but. I knew they wouldn't show anything. Oops. My phone's about to die. 1 second. Not showing us much there, buds.
You're getting your last few views of the solar corona as the moon begins to take center stage and completely cover the sun. As the moon begins to take center stage and completely cover the sun. If you see that bright dot up near the top left of your screen, we think right now that that may be a part of the spacecraft, but we'll be sure to correct that if we end up figuring out later that it is something else entirely.
Let's see what it is. And I don't remember the spacecraft parts being that far out. It was like to here. Oops, whoa.
It has been an absolute honor to join you here today for the lunar flyby of Artemis 2, the first time humans have flown by the moon in over 50 years. I'm Leah Cheshire Mustachio, and I'm excited now to hand over the
game is shifting around in the windows, and we are transferring settings on the camera to pick up Earth shine. And it is amazing. The brightness where the corona, where the sunset is still bright. I think there may still be corona.
See, somebody said before, they said before that this is the farthest humans have gone. But if the previous moon landings, they had to stay in orbit around the moon, isn't it this, you know what I mean? Even though these guys went around the moon, isn't it the same distance? Even though they had to stay in orbit for the other moon landings? If you're catching what I'm saying. Like it's... They're going to try and tell us that this is a star. All of a sudden, we haven't been able to see stars the whole time. But now, because the sun's blocked, we get to see a star.
You know our rules that we don't talk when the crew is talking, so wanted to give Victor Glover a moment there to call down what he was seeing now that the moon is covering the sun. A really amazing time during today's lunar flyby. Again, thank you so much for letting us help tell this story today. I am Leah Cheshire Mustachio, handing it over to my friend Anna Schneider at the PAO console as the Orbit 2 team comes to join us. So thank you so much, and I hope you all enjoy tonight. Anna, you can take it away.
Thank you so much, Leanne. It's been a joy listening to your coverage over the last several hours. So as you mentioned, the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers is currently making their way on console and completing a shift handover with the Orbit 1 team of flight controllers. The Orbit 2 team tonight will be led by Flight Director Diane Daly, and she is currently handing over with the Orbit 1 Flight Director there on your screen, who was Flight Director Jeff Radigan. The Artemis 2 crew currently on board the Orion spacecraft. It continues to observe the eclipse that they are witnessing. There's about 43 minutes remaining in that eclipse period.
Somebody just commented, it's funny how one of them had a cross and one of them had a star. Come on, we want to see that dot again. Let's go. No, it's still there.
The
This is Artemis Mission Control. You are currently seeing a live view of the solar array wing cameras on the Orion spacecraft. We spoke with our science team, and they did determine that that dot in the distance is Venus.
No, it's Venus, bro. It's Venus. Regarde-moi comment qu'elle bouge side to side, là. You know what I mean? That should be the moon if it's blocking out the sun right there, right? What a bunch of horse shit. Check-moi comment qu'il sway, là. Comment qu'il bouge. Oh yeah, sure. They're fucking... This shitty camera this whole time has been giving us crappy feed, but all of a sudden it can pick up a star. No. I can go on NASA's if you want. The only reason I didn't go on theirs is because they turned off their chat. Obviously, they don't want people to talk on their channel. Where's NASA? And my kids destroyed my my YouTube by going on their stuff, so now I have like kids videos mixed in with my stuff.
Science integrity. Let's see, not a huge change in here, just an update. The camera settings for can see the surface of the moon between, I guess the Earthshine. I guess Earthshine. You can actually see.
Oh, look at that! They actually turned on the chat now.
It is the strangest looking thing that you can see so much on the surface.
It's really strange that we can see so much on the surface. Okay. Weird comment to make. Why is it weird?
This is Artemis Mission Control. You were just hearing some communications called down from NASA astronaut Victor Glover, currently on board the Orion spacecraft. They are currently observing an eclipse. There's about 39 minutes remaining in that eclipse period. Currently, we are in a forward link LOS, or loss of signal, so the crew can communicate down with...
He's seen 2 meteors, science.
What did he just say?
So we are in a forward link loss of signal. We do expect to regain signal in about 3 minutes, and at that point then the ground can communicate back up to the crew on board the Orion spacecraft. In the meantime, the crew can continue to communicate down to the ground. The ground is just unable to respond, so they are continuing to provide some science observations during this eclipse period. They've made some comments about Earth shine, which is the sunlight reflected from Earth when they come around towards the moon's near side late in this flyby window.
Come on, NASA, show us some good stuff. Let's go.
Yeah, we packed our bags for vacuum. Photos taped inside the hatch. Your name carved on the metal, so the stars would know our past. Coffee drifting from the thermos. Little spheres of home afloat. You laugh, try catch each and every one like fragile, tiny worlds of hope. We're leaving gravity, but not each other. Rising from a blue and breathing sphere. Every mile feels like forever. Orbiting our little fears. If the sky bars are behind us and the dark is all we see, I trace new maps along your fingers. You're the universe to me. Windows here with thumbprint planets. Auroras curling far below.
Earthshine.
The night is all we know. Radio hums old recordings. Voices from a spinning stone. Call us when you find the sunrise on a sun we've never known. We're leaving gravity, but not.
This is Artemis Mission Control. You were just hearing some communications called down from NASA astronaut Victor Glover, currently on board the Orion spacecraft. They are currently observing an eclipse. There's about 39 minutes remaining in that eclipse period.
At least some people
we are in a forward-link LOS, or loss of signal, so the crew can communicate down.
What if we don't make it back? What if we don't want to? Silver dust on all our doubts. Burning trails behind the truth.
Let's see what planets come up now when they show us the next view. So we had Venus. They claim that was Venus.
So we are in a forward-link loss
You see,
of signal.
that's where they're saying it is.
Regain signal in about 3
Doesn't
minutes.
even make sense when the sun was over here.
Ground can communicate back up to the crew on board the Orion. The ground is just unable to respond, so they are continuing to provide some science observations during this eclipse period. They've made some comments about Earth shine, which is the sunlight reflected from Earth when they come around towards the moon's near side late in this flyby window.
You're the universe to me.
Yeah, it's almost midnight or 1 in the morning, something like that.
Would you like to go?
Je parlais avec ma femme. Alright guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna help the wife with the kids, put them to bed because they're giving her a hard time. And yeah, nothing really interesting going on now. I thought it was gonna be more than that. I thought at least they were gonna show us the flyby, but but once again they didn't. So thanks for joining. Merci tout le monde, merci Kenoé pour avoir venu. Je vais couper ça là, je vais mettre les enfants au lit. No problemo. I wish I would have had OBS working, it would have been better. Wouldn't have had to hold my phone the whole time. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna keep watching his live. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm just gonna screen record whatever I find and just make a video after. Alright guys, much love. Love you all. Bonne nuit tout le monde. Je vous aime. Ciao guys.